Mr. Petrucelli.
Joe Petrucelli, 62 Revere. First, has the audit been issued? Have we completed the audit and had it issued?
Just got the books tonight.
So my understanding is last year's audit is just being released to the council now.
Period ending June 7, yes.
So June 7th, you were getting from last year. Can you tell me what took long? Because I've never seen it, and I kept asking for that for years with Spadoro. What could have possibly been so bad about that audit that it was only released now? You're almost done with this year. Can I get an answer through the chair? I mean, you as council people should be asking this question, not me. This is a question you should be asking, but I'm going to ask it for you.
I would suggest, Mr. Petrucelli, dial 393-1000 and ask Mr. Morrison that question.
Okay.
I can do that, but I don't think the people could do it. Was there something in there was there some kind of disclaimer that you were?
My understanding, Council President, is that Mr. Morrison's going to request through the Council President a presentation of the audit whenever you're ready for that.
Right.
And they'll be able to present it,
Well,
and you'll
it's
be
pretty
able
good
to
we
ask
get the audit
questions.
now. The budget's almost over, but.
But
I
you're
don't-
talking about the
I just asked
audit or
the
the
question.
budget?
See, we have 6 minutes to speak, and this council likes to cut the voice of the people with freedom of speech. So I'm just asking a specific question. I don't want to get in debate anymore. Do you understand why, as council people, and me as a resident would like to understand why an audit for last year is coming out now in just June of 2007? I'm sorry, 2008. That's a simple question, Council President. And we get criticized as the public. These meetings, you have resolutions, and I promote, resolutions for kids and all the other stuff. But we have 2 times to speak during the month as residents on serious issues that affect us because we live in this town and we care about this town. So to criticize and say you're going to put a meeting together because we're being rude, we've had budget information withheld from us. We've had blatant mistakes on contract bids. We've had all kinds of things that have led to the frustration you see. The voice of the people has been shut down. So I think when somebody asks a legitimate question, especially from a business administration, should understand why you don't get an audit. Certainly as a business owner, you wouldn't be getting banking financing if you waited 11 months to come out with your audit. So I think one of the issues that I see, and I gave you a pretty detailed thing, is the last minute changes that go on. That's not fair to the public that gets here for that little bit of time that we get to speak. And we come here and you cancel it, and we have to come back another meeting. But those things are okay, and those things are okay that why we're frustrated and we can't vent about them. You have numbers of significant issues put on the same night, and then you wonder why we're here until 11. We didn't get to talk to the public session until what, 9:30? Okay, that was our fault. We had nothing to do with any of the things. If you're going to put on an emergency management coordinator that moves out of the town with his family, and you expect people not to be outraged because if there was an emergency event, it would be a catastrophe, we wouldn't have our emergency management. My question is the chief going to allow him to take the car home? We're wondering why we're replacing vehicles every 2 years. You saw my legislation. Why don't we start restricting the use of our vehicles to Edison business and not outside of Edison? These are some of the simple policy changes. You all come up here and brag about the budget and fixing the budget. These are the policy changes you need to fix the numbers. The numbers are the numbers. It's the policy changes you got to make. The other thing is, I open requested because Mr. Muscola was nice enough to read into a letter, but, and then I see that you were left out, other council members didn't receive it, but his first question to Mr. Morrison was, he was concerned that, the budget was going to be coming up and that the competency of Mr. Cancro wasn't there and the new CFO. You failed to say that. Now, Mr. Fahrenbach has been here through 2 budget processes. And one of the things it says is, we'll get the benefit of Mr. Fahrenbach showing the people. Now, well, he's been here for all this time. Now, Mr. Lear's firm was involved in the litigation with Vignoli. And it's an interesting document because it's federal record. You can go on to the Pacer site and print pretty much every document that transpired in that thing. And, it starts to recall because I was wondering why the mayor would handshake with another attorney that he didn't want his depositions available to the residents that had to pay the bill for firing it. But one of the quotes in the newspapers, because all the newspaper articles were in there, was that we went through all of the proper procedures that the Division of Personnel had put out there, Donnelly said. Because of the township's financial crisis, These positions are not necessary at this time right now. We're trying to do this. This was $222,000 worth of people that got cut from a budget. We brought Charkier in to replace the technical guy that was here. God knows how much that really cost us by the time we were done with the contract and by the time we were done with Mr. Lear's sphere. But my point is, you are blindly listening to people that we need change. You had a finance committee. God knows I'm not going to get on the finance committee because I give you the negative side of the thing. I won't just go along, and I won't. Ms. Rosigliano will tell you, she'll fight with me. But if the numbers are the right numbers, I will not yield. And that's the way it should be. So if you're going to use a professional to do your dirty work, at least put in what your concerns were so that people knows why you were seeking that information out. The other thing I had a question on was I presented to Mr. Lear a violation of the ordinance that the mayor did, and I asked you for some guidance on it, and it was in the criminal charge that Mr. Krupas, I was able to get finally, I'll come back.
Thank you, sir.